And welcome to another live stream. So we'll just wait for a couple of people to jump in the chat, make sure my mic's working, make sure everything is working okay. And here we go. Okay, we are live. So g'day Birdman, how are you? Lovely day for it, absolutely perfect afternoon for it. So let me know what the audio's like. I'll just jump around in front. We'll just check our audio. We'll do the usual. Hello and welcome to a new tree. So again, like today's a bit of a scouting mission. What I want to do is we've got an incoming tide. So I'm trying to time the tide so I can get some water underneath this tree and get some nice reflections. So yeah, look, today's all about the tide. I've come in the long way. I haven't gone across the creek today. I've come in from the long way, so it's taken me 40 minutes to get here walking. Just wanted to see what the tide does. So I know right on Blue Owl we're going to have a 2 metre tide. I'm hoping 2 metres is going to be high enough to give us some water under that tree, get some epic reflection. So that's the plan. Hopefully, we'll get an idea of what the tide's doing anyway. G'day Linda, loud and clear, audio great. Okay, good. Are you out tonight, Linda? The cloud has disappeared. It's your fault, Linda. As soon as you said you were going out, you took the cloud with you. So there's absolutely nothing out here at the moment but blue sky. But yeah, look, what a perfect night for it. I'll give you a quick pan around. Don't get stuck in the mud. Yeah, well, the mud isn't quite so bad here. It's sort of near the creek where it gets bad. We can see and hear you. G'day, Kath. We had a bit of a surprise visit today from our kids. So after I planned my live stream, they decided to give us a quick surprise visit. So I'll have to catch up with them when I get home. So this is where I am. That's where I've come from. Over there. So 40-minute walk, which isn't too bad. It's a nice walk along Dunderham Beach. And we're out amongst the trees. Linda, yes, that's Scarness. My knees are too sore. Yeah. It's a long walk. It's not like this way is not too bad because it's a lot of sand. So it's a lot of sand, and then you've probably got maybe 200 metres of mud, which isn't super thick mud like my video. G'day John, how are you? Rain bomb for us down here in Narracourt. Oh no. Yeah, there's been a bit of weather going around lately. So we haven't copped it yet. We were expecting, I think, up to 25 mils on Sunday, but they keep changing it. So yeah, look after yourself in the rain. We had a rain bomb here. Was it this year? Early this year? They're not good. But there's a little bit of cloud out behind us. Like, I'd love to be shooting that way, but it's just too messy. I'll explain that once we get going. I don't like shooting back into the trees. It's just a bit messy. This way, nice clean tree. I will move around into my composition soon. This is more just for the lighting, so you can see my mug on the camera. So hello again and welcome to everyone who's joined in. Yeah, like I said earlier, the plan for tonight is I'm checking the tide. So we've got an incoming tide, new moon phase, so we've got big tides. So the tide will come rushing in pretty quick. I'm going to stay here as late as I possibly can. I don't mind walking back in the dark because it's a nice beach. There were a few people camping that looked a bit sketchy, but we'll deal with that when we get there. But yeah, I want to see the water and how high this tide gets. Really want to get here while I've got in between knee deep to ankle deep water. Get that reflection, get the tree with the reflection. So I'm staying till Blue Owl because the sky's doing nothing at the moment. If you can hear fart noises, it's the mud, trust me. It is a little bit muddy. So I'm going to work with this tree. There are a few other ones around. If I get bored, I might go for a bit of a look. But I've kind of had a look. I've found the one that I want. So I'm going to work with it. But this is more just to say hello and catch up and have a chat. And I haven't done a live stream for quite a while. Kath, I may or may not have cried. Yeah, well, we haven't seen our kids for a while. It's good to have them back. Now that they've grown up, they don't want to be at home with us all the time. John, we need the rain too. Many farmers are suicidal. We have lost 4 in the past 3. Wow, that's not good. Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? You need the rain, and then all of a sudden you get more than what you need. It's never good. Tough life being a farmer. It's either drought or flood. It's rare that you get everything for too long. We missed you. Thanks, Birdman. Thanks. I missed you guys. Yeah, the last stream was a bit hectic because we had, that was the Torquay Pier. There was a lot of people there, so I couldn't do what I normally do, which is just talk crap to myself. Yeah, and look, this is more the purpose of live streams, is coming out on my own, finding locations. I'm going to try and, I was going to go back to one of my old spots, and I thought, no, stuff it. I've got to come out here. I've got to see the tides. I've got to see how long it takes to walk here. Just so I can prepare people. If people want to come out here, I can just let them know that, it's a 40-minute walk. It's mostly beach, a little bit of sand and mud at the end of it. So yeah, my live streams are generally scouting missions, finding new locations to show you guys. And then we will take some photos soon. I'm just waiting for that. If I spin it around, there's just a slither of cloud up there. The sky is the sky's just not doing much. The sun is a fireball. Once we get close to this, I'll try and get a bit of a starburst through the trees. I'll run through starburst and how we do that. All right, let's move into position and start getting ready. It is a photography stream, so let's do some photography. So anyone new to the channel, I am currently the world's best landscape photographer in this location at this very minute. So that's just a little bit of a backstory. I am currently the best landscape photographer out here in this very spot at the moment. Could also be the worst. I don't have any competition at the moment. That's kind of our composition, okay? That's what we're dealing with at the moment. The sky is a fireball. Let me take the phone off. I'll bring you over to this tree and have a bit of a look. And I'll show you my plan. My plan is to shoot a few different things. I will get down. There's a little bit of a puddle in the front there, which looks quite nice. Don't mind me moving my camera. I will get down here and we'll get some starbursts through that tree. Yeah, there's not much we can do at the moment. Normally I'm looking for some cloud. So either cloud to the left or right will depend on how I compose it. At the moment I will probably just do it in portrait mode and just get the tree in portrait mode up and down with the reflections. Sky's not doing much. Get some starbursts. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. And look, it's a very, very simple composition, which is easy. There's some clouds starting to roll in now. It's heading the right way too. G'day Leslie, how are you? Mr. Muddy Man? Yes, we are getting muddy. It's not too bad here though. It's not like that other spot. This spot's not too bad. It's very much a cross between sand and mud. More sand than mud. We just need like look at that. Like that's just, just a quick on composition. What I'm looking for, I don't care too much about rules of thirds and leading lines and all that stuff. What I'm looking for here is balance. So I've got this tree on this side, I've got the sun on this side, and just a very simple, minimalistic, like just a nice composition which actually looks all right. We get a bit more cloud, things could look even better. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit. We'll take a few different shots from different angles. But like I said, it's just, I'm here to catch up with people, have a chat, and get out of the house. Get out of the house while my kids are there. No. If they had have told us they were coming, I might have rescheduled my stream. Yeah, the cloud behind us is looking really nice at the moment. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's in here. It's always good to have at least someone in here so I'm not talking to myself all the time. So thank you to everyone who's in here. Now, one thing I've kind of learnt from my previous live streams is I'm going to show you more of the back of the camera. I'll try and make things a bit more interesting so it's not just me talking. So what I'll do is I'm going to bring you in with me today. Let's get this down lower. Now I don't normally like to move the camera too much just because it's a live stream. I know it does get a bit glitchy the more I move it around. So what I'll do, let's get in nice and tight. I'm going to go for a starburst straight up. Okay, so I'm going to go for a starburst, just sink that tripod in the mud. So with a starburst, we want a small aperture or a large number. Okay, so ideally f22 will give us a nice starburst, but just for quality insurance, I'm going at f18. So f18 will still give me a starburst. Let me show you the back of the camera. So f18 will still give me a starburst. Shutter speed, I don't want my shutter speed too slow. Okay, so dial in our aperture first, f18, then I'm just going to play with shutter speed. I'm shooting on a 17-40. I'm going to crank up my ISO. I'm going to go up to 400, just so my shutter speed doesn't get too slow, because I'm going to be handheld for now. And this is it's a balancing act. By looking at my histogram, I am blowing the sky, but when it comes to doing a starburst, I don't care if I blow my sky a little bit, but I'm still going to try and get it as close to the right. So I'm watching this side of my histogram at the moment. So somewhere around about there. And then it's just a case of trying to line up the sun so it's coming through. And I like to do this off live screen, live view. You know what, I'm actually going to zoom in. The sky's not doing a lot. And there's the first shot. Yeah, can't really tell on the back of the camera. Let me zoom in and have a look. Nah, it's okay, but it's not great. All right, we're going to get into serious mode. Where do I want my star? Where do I want it? Let's try there. That's okay. It's not great. If I remembered how to use my camera, make things easier. What a great starburst. Just sort of moving around until I'm almost blinding myself by looking into the sun. That's a bit better. Let's have a quick look at that one. Still not doing what I want it to do. Let's go all the way up to f22. Let's really get this starburst doing stuff. Get down lower. Let's get it right on the horizon. There it is. That one should work a bit better. Still not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. Let's focus out on our horizon. Starburst can be tricky, especially when you're trying to shoot it through a tree. I'm just trying to find somewhere where I can... There's a good one. There's a good one. That should work a bit better. Not the greatest starburst of all time, but I think it's just a little bit diffused by the cloud at the moment. You can see the light has just gone a little bit softer. So let me quickly show you what I've got. So there's my last shot. If I just zoom in, how do I zoom in? You can just sort of see it coming through there. So that was at f22. So f22 will give you a starburst or a sun star. But yeah, it's just sort of diffusing a little bit. There is a little bit of cloud on that horizon, which is just diffusing it enough to not be super bright. But I'm going to keep trying while it's there. Try one up the top. Let's try one up the top. Again, I'm going to focus on the tree. There's a good gap there. Oh, there's a really nice gap. That's a nice gap. That one's better. Yeah, that one's not bad. Let's focus on the tree now. I was just focused on the horizon before. That one's not bad. There's a little gap in the tree, which I'm trying to get the sun through that. It's just a matter of moving around and literally blinding yourself. That one's okay as well. So I'll show you in a second. And I'm just going to change up my focus. I'm just occasionally focusing on the horizon and then focusing on the tree. By focusing on the horizon, our starburst will be better. Just because that's where the sun is. That one's okay. But then the tree's blurry. Yeah, it's that fine line. I'll try a couple in wide angle. There it is. Let's just offset it a little. One's okay. Oh, there's a nice gap there. I really want those reflections. I really want those reflections. And anyone who knows me, don't go home with 20 shots exactly the same. So I'm just sort of moving left, moving right, zooming in, zooming out. Just seeing what works. I can sort of get, I think the tree just on its own. Let's just focus on the tree. That's not too bad. I'm going to go back down to F18. Just slightly overexpose a little. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the most epic shots, but they're okay. Let me show you what I've got. Where are we up to? Would you get the 6D Mark II? No. Sadly, I'm going to go mirrorless. Well, not sadly. I'm excited, actually. I am excited to get mirrorless. So there's my last shot. And then just sort of in the middle to the left. Zoom out, zoom in. So that one's got a nice little starburst coming through. So that's all I do, is I just mix it up. I don't need to go home with heaps of shots exactly the same. Now we've got some cloud up high. Let me go into wide view. Bear with us, this will just jump a little bit. Look at that, now we've got some cloud up high. Now I'm thinking wide angle, definitely. Look at that. I'll get back to the questions in a minute. Birdman, they have Magic Lantern for the 6D Mark II. Yes, I do have Magic Lantern on my old 50D. But look, the mirrorless cameras just have everything in them now. Now the sun's right on the horizon. Let me quickly, I'm just going to frame it up over here. Getting the tree in the gap. I want the tree in the gap so I've got a bit of sky. Oh, I started to sink in the mud as I did that. Okay, let me just get my aperture back to, let's stay at 18 while that sun's out. I want to get a starburst. Let's get a starburst while it's still there. Oh, there's a nice cloud just creeping in from the top of my frame. Now my shutter speed's really slow. I've got to stay still. Stop talking. Let's just check our histogram. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's actually not too bad. Okay, bear with me while I get this sun set. I like the way, yeah, it's framing up quite nicely. That is quite nice. I'll just speed up our shutter a little bit. Just slightly underexpose. That's nice. Now I need to get down low. So this is where the mirrorless comes in. Trying to get these sorts of shots. Having a flippy screen. Oh, that looks really good. That looks, if I can hold my camera straight. See, this is where I really do need that flippy screen. So I can at least get my horizon straight. You probably can't see what I'm doing. Let me show you some of the shots that I just, have a look at the last shot. Look at that. So just by getting down low. So see here, I've got the cloud off to one side, cloud on the other side, and giving the tree some space. So the tree's not sort of cutting through the cloud. And that's one thing, I kind of mentioned it in my last video about composition. You can't tell a composition until you get there. So for example, what I've done, g'day Marnie, how are you? Welcome to the stream. So I've framed it up here. Okay, so now I've got my tree with a gap. Okay, so the tree's not interfering with the cloud, it's not interfering with the sun. So that's sort of something that when it comes to composition, I just can't stand when people draw all these lines and squiggles and say this is how you compose a shot. Because a lot of the time it depends on what the cloud's doing, it depends on what the water's doing. Things are always changing. So, you know, if we come around here too far, okay, then we start to get the mainland creeping in on this side, which I don't like. Cloud looks nice though. But yeah, just having that tree in the middle, rather than here, where it's kind of, the tree's competing with the clouds. So that's, you know, it's very hard to teach composition in a video because it's so specific. The conditions are so specific. You've got to be here. Yeah, welcome Marnie, how are you? Welcome everyone. We've got 13 people in here at the moment, so thank you to everyone who's in here. Now we're starting to get that nice soft pastel-y colour. Tell you what, the sky's looking good. Blue hour's going to go off. If this cloud stays, that looks nice. That looks really nice. I love the simplicity of it. Now I'm not a big fan of minimalistic type images. You know, you could call this minimalistic, but to me we've got a lot going on. We've got clouds coming in from the side of the frame. Everything's kind of pointing towards the tree. We've got reflections down here. You know, but it's a simple composition. Not minimalistic, just simple, easy. If it was just clear blue sky, then it would be minimalistic. But we've got a bit going on now, and that's looking quite nice. So I'm going to stop talking and take some more shots. I might have to get the tripod out soon. Let's get back down to about F14. I'm going to try and get a reflection in this puddle here. So let's just check our histogram. How are we looking? It's getting very dark now. I am going to have to don't want to bump up my ISO too much. I don't mind going up to about 400 on this camera. That looks pretty good. I'll take my aperture down to F11. 50th of a second, F11. That looks pretty good. I'll focusing on the sky. Whoa, wow. Wow. That's pretty bloody good. Yeah. Very, very... Oh, if I had a flippy screen, I wouldn't be firing off as many shots. I'd be able to actually compose it properly. Look at that. So that's the last shot. Just using the foreground for reflections. And then I've taken a few in landscape mode as well. Look at that, very just... And that's what I mean by not so much minimalistic, just simple. Just not messy. That's one thing I don't like, not messy. John, yeah, agree when things are always changing with the weather. Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, the weather, especially as a landscape photographer, it's all about the weather. It's, you've got to, you know, see what the weather's doing before you compose a shot. You've got to work to it. So at the moment, I've got these dark clouds on either side of the tree, and it's all kind of framing it up and pointing in, and it's just looking really nice. Look at that. So now I'm going to try and get a bit more reflection. Oh, look at that. Wow. I want to do a focus stack, but we'll wait till blue hour. Let me show you just what I've got then. That, I love it. Look at that, reflection in the puddle. Now, once we get to blue hour, that is going to be my composition. I love that reflection. Who needs the tide when we can get that? That I really like. All right, time to get on the tripod and get set up. Now I can go back up to F14 and I don't care about my shutter speed. So now, you know, when you're working with a tripod, you dial in your ultimates, your best settings. So f14 is where I want to be for depth of field, ISO 100 is where I want to be, and when I'm on a tripod, I'm just going to change my shutter speed. Okay, so, and again, all I do is watch my histogram. I'll expose one about there. And with a scene like this, I'm going to do a focus stack and everything. G'day Leslie, how are you? Nice textures. I think I already said hello, but hello again. How are you? I ordered another print today. So hold off on your printing because I've ordered another one. So we'll see how it comes out. I'm absolutely wrapped with the last print that I got. It looks really good. And I'm in the process of updating my website at the moment too. No more small prints from me. G'day fammy, how are you? Welcome to Hervey Bay. Welcome to which will soon be Blue Hour. Yeah, no more small prints. I'm ditching small prints altogether. I just, you know, prints need to be seen big. So I am just going big prints now. So I'm sorry to all those people that enjoy their smaller prints, their A4s and 8x10s. I'm just going big now. If you're gonna, you know, make them look impressive. Linda, I've nicked a name that tree, the dancing tree. Love the reflections. That's a good nickname, the dancing tree. Yeah, I can't call it my tree because I've already got my tree. The dancing tree. It is a really nice tree. It is. Let me zoom in again. I'm just going to zoom in. Let's get that tree in the frame. I love all the... Tell you what, there's a really good mangrove tree behind me. Don't mind me changing subject every 5 seconds. That's what I do. So yeah, there's a really nice tree behind me. It's got all these mangrove roots. Like, it's massive. It's... Oh, it would be a good 12 foot, 15 foot tall. Massive mangrove roots, but it's just a mess. It's actually in there at the moment and very messy. Where do you get your prints printed? Look, I'm just trialing a few different places at the moment. So as soon as I find one that I'm happy with, I'll let you know. The last one I got done was at My Picture, it's in Germany. So a bit of a pain waiting for it to come from Germany. I would rather support local, but I thought I'll just have a look. I'm just going to try a few different ones, see what the quality's like. Oh, I'm starting to sink. Try a few different ones, and look, the one from My Picture, it is nice. It is very nice. It's come out well. Packaging was really good. Price was good. So yeah, at the moment, My Picture's one of them. But I'm going to try a few more local ones. Yeah, having stuff shipped from Germany. Look, it didn't take long to get here, and it is nice. So, yeah, I'll try a few. So if you're a local printing company and you're watching my live stream for some bizarre reason, let me know. Get in touch. All right, I'm just waiting. The sky's not doing what I want it to do. I want a bit more colour. Once we get to Blue Hour, we will get more colour. So that's why I'm talking at the moment. I'm just killing time. I've just found the composition that I like. And that's one thing I always say. As soon as you see something on your back of the camera and you just go, oh, wow, just stick with it and work it. There's no point going off and trying to find something else to do when all of a sudden you're looking and you're going, wow. Okay, if you look at it and you go, it's okay, then look. But yeah, if you look at the back of the camera and go, wow, stick with it. It's one thing I've learned over the years. You know, the amount of times I've gone out, taken photos, and you find that composition and you go, oh wow, this looks good. And then you decide to move around and see what else is around. And it's always that first one you think, yep. Order more colour. It's on its way. It's on its way, Birdman. I can almost lock it in. It is on its way. I'm just going to get my tripod ready. The colour is coming, I can guarantee you. We are talking about Hervey Bay here. Hervey Bay and Blue Hour. For those unaware, Hervey Bay and Blue Hour is a match made in heaven. Oh, look at that. That's, again, it's one of those things, I don't know whether I want to shoot wide or tight. I like wide, but then my tree's small. Let's get in a little bit closer. Okay, let me show you how I'm composing. I'm going to show you, because I'm off the camera now, I'll just come back a little bit so you can kind of see. Now, I'm shooting with a 17-40 on a full frame. G'day Scotty, how are you? Yes, and hello everyone. Thank you everyone who's here. Get ready. This Blue Hour is going to go off. This is going to go off. Sunset was very lackluster, but I'm getting a bit excited for Blue Hour. I am. This spot never disappoints, I swear. I've been here a few times. My other trees, the 4 trees that I I've only been to them twice, but the other 4 trees over there, just literally a stone throw. Now, I can throw a stone a very long way, but still, it's a stone throw. Okay, I need to get lower. I do need to get lower. It's one thing I don't like about this tripod. It's got the centre column. I just don't like centre columns. I was almost going to bring the other tripod, but no, that works. It's low enough. It's low enough. So now I'm just moving in. I want this puddle right in the bottom of my frame, but I also want mud around the bottom of my frame. So I don't want the puddle cutting out of the frame. I want a little bit of mud there. Exactly like that. Yeah, more water would be nice. Now the puddle's coming out of my frame that way, so I'm just going to come over this way a little bit. It's all about there. That's better. That's better. Now I don't like that second puddle. There's a second little stingray lie right there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just going to expose for my highlights. And I'm going to do a focus stack, because this is too good not to. So first going to focus in the foreground. 2-second timer, just so I don't get any camera shake. Metering modes, I'll do a video on metering modes soon. I don't need to worry about metering modes in manual mode. So there's my first shot for my foreground. So I've focused this side of the puddle. I've literally focused at the base of my tripod feet. My second focus is going to be on the reflection. So now I'm going to focus on the reflection. Get that shot. Okay, my next shot is going to be on the tree. Focus on the tree, which I haven't had to move it much to tell the truth. And then finally, I will focus on the horizon. Not that there's much out there on the horizon, but just get into the habit of doing it. Okay, if you ever get to somewhere where you've got big mountain ranges on your horizon, get into the habit of focusing on the horizon and on the clouds, just so you've got that full depth. Okay, and that's my focus stack. Wow. Let me show you what I've got framed up. That's what I've got framed up. So see how I've just sort of kept enough in my foreground. Where's my finger there? Just, so I've got, yeah, I don't like that puddle right at the bottom. I don't like this puddle. I don't like this puddle right here. I love everything around there. But that's, you know, again, that's one of those, it's a compositional thing you can't teach. You know, you can't say, get rid of the puddle. The puddle's there. G'day, Pam, how are you? And welcome back. I think you came back a couple of weeks ago. I hope you had a good trip. We do need to catch up. I want to see your photos. So, hello and welcome. Yeah, we're getting close to Blue Hour now, but that's kind of the composition that I'm looking at the moment. Like I said, I just don't like this puddle, that puddle right there. If it was sand, See, I might even be better off going bare, like zooming in a bit and doing that. Let's try that. It's just fine tuning. Now that I've found my composition, it's just fine tuning. Look at that sky, we're getting there. We're getting to blue hour. So, are you going to go into long exposure? Yes, I've got lots of video. The next video I do will probably be a long exposure one, but again, it's all on conditions. I need the right conditions to do a long exposure video. I don't like making videos just for the sake of making videos, if that makes sense. If I'm going to make a video, I'm going to go out on the day and film it. And whatever happens on the day is what's going to happen. I'd rather not just dig up old footage and explain what I'm doing. I'd rather show you what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to do another quick focus stack here. I've just slowed down my shutter speed even more now that we're losing light. So now we're down at, just watching my highlights, that's all I'm doing. Watching my highlights, half a second. So highlights are under control, not doing multiple exposures. I want it to be a silhouette. I don't need foreground interest. I don't need foreground detail. I want a silhouette. I want my highlights under control. So then when I develop the photo, I've got colour. Blow your highlights, you lose your colour. Simple as that. Always expose for your highlights. With landscape photography, always expose for your highlights. If you decide you need foreground detail, then expose for your foreground as well. So that's the way I do it anyway. I'm always just exposing for my highlights. If I want detail in my shadows, then I'll take a separate exposure. And in this case, I don't need that detail. It looks really good as a silhouette. Have a look at that. Yeah, we're a long way off that 2 metre tide. I think it might have been about 6:30 that it hit 2 metres, which I'll probably still be here at. Look at that. So see what I mean? But I don't need to expose for those shadows because it's a silhouette, and straight off the back of the camera, that looks good to me. My highlights are under control. It's just the phone. The phone doesn't pick up the highlights. And I can't change the exposure when I'm live streaming. So yeah, can't change my exposure when I'm live streaming. But yeah, all those highlights, if I put my histogram on. So here's my histogram. And I can see that it's not touching the right. If I spin it this way, my histogram isn't touching the right, which means I've got all my highlight detail. And that, to me, is the most important thing of landscape photography. Expose for your highlights, and then expose for the shadows if you need to. Pam, yes, time for a catch-up. Yeah, I want to see some of your photos. So Pam's done a nice big trip. And Pam takes some really nice photos. As does everyone who's booked a class with me takes nice photos because I taught them. Pam knew what she was doing before she met me. It's good. It's good to see. A lot of competition in Hervey Bay. Everyone's getting good. Wow. That's wow. Not everyone comes to places like this though. I mentioned it in my last video. I'd seen all these photos of Hervey Bay in the past. And then I came here and found things like this and I'm like, wow. This is what I like. I don't like people. I don't like people. I do. I like people. I like nice people. Everyone who books a class with me are nice. I haven't had anyone I haven't had to send a follow-up email to before, which is nice. It's not often you can say that about a job. Everyone you deal with is nice. Isn't that right, family? Yeah. Look at that. This is me and my element. Lone tree. The talking to myself. I'm still not a fan of talking to myself. Wow. All right, I'm going to do one in portrait mode. I'm getting a bit carried away here. I'm going to do one in portrait mode. I'm going to offset it. Don't really need a panorama, but I'm just doing all this one in one shot now. I'm not doing any more focus stacking for this. I'm just going to focus on the tree. F14, focused on the tree. Our depth of field should be fine. Should be fine. Wow. And we'll just do a bit of a pano. I'm just doing a 2-shot pano. Oh, God. I am shaking. It's actually getting a bit chilly. It's getting a bit chilly. Who would have thought it'd be cold in Queensland? Wow. Wow. Yeah. So the reason I'm down low is to get that reflection in the puddle. That's the only reason I'm really down low, to get that reflection in the puddle. And that looks really good. In fact, let's do a proper pano. Let's get it about there somewhere. Now my ball head is nowhere near straight, so I'm just gonna, let's do one over here. Yes, my ball head is nowhere near straight, so I've just got to wing it. It's a problem with this tripod. Yeah, the centre column can be a real pain when it comes to getting down low. Great tripod. I do really enjoy this tripod. It's light, it's easy, it's cheap. But yeah, I'm not one of those people that spends a lot of money on tripods. Tripod, it's a piece of metal that holds your camera. I know there's people out there that will tell you that you need to spend thousands of dollars on a tripod. This was 120 bucks, 120 Australian dollars, which is about $5 US. It does the job. And yes, look, if I'm, I will do a video one day if I go down to the Sunshine Coast and I'm out in amongst waves and wind and stuff like that, then yes, you do want a more sturdy tripod. I will admit that. This tripod isn't perfect for every condition, but for here, out on the mud flats, in no wind, wow, look at that. It's perfect. Hey, what did I say about Blue Hour, Birdman? Hervey Bay Blue Hours never disappoint. If you have a look at anyone who's just come into the stream, have a look at what it was like before I started. It was clear blue skies with absolutely nothing happening. Now look at it. Yeah, that tide's a long way off. I thought it would have been at least a little bit closer. I might have to come out here on a 2.5 metre tide. Then I don't have to get down so low, I can stay up nice and high. Have a look at that. Look at that. Wow. Okay, let me catch up on some chat. I was sitting there talking to myself for a while. High tide in the dark. Yeah, it's not a super high tide. I'll still get back along the beach, so that's okay. Looks like a rainbow. Absolutely, look at the colours. I'm still after a portrait shot. Okay, oh yeah. I'm planning on... you're after a portrait. I get it. I thought you wanted like a picture of a person. Yes, portrait shot. This is the one. Even the clouds are pretty. Yeah, everything's looking good. Have a look at that. Okay. Hervey Bay, Queensland, people. Get here. Wow. That's, yeah, that puddle at the front. If I was here on a higher tide, I wouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah, there's a puddle right there that's really not ruining the shot, but I don't like it. All right, I'm going to keep taking shots because we will lose this colour soon. Oh, come on, tripod. I know I said bad things about you, but just hold on for a little bit longer. What if I come over? No, I can't. I can't. Let me get a few more shots and then I better start the walk back in the dark. I'm going to, and this is a good thing about a zoom lens, I can crop it out just by zooming in. Let's get right in. Let's get this tree fill our frame. See, now that I've zoomed in, this is where I do want to focus stack, just shooting at not such a wide angle. My depth of field will change. Okay, shooting at 17mm, my depth of field's fine, but shooting at probably around about 30mm, my depth of field is going to be narrower. So I will need to focus stack. No, don't like that. That's zoomed too much. I'm trying to get that puddle. I've got to go back over this way a little bit. And I've got to make sure this, now that we're into like 5-second exposures, I've got to make sure that tripod is proper in the mud so it doesn't sink. Alright, let's do one more quick focus stack. One more quick focus stack. Yeah, that's... Look at that colour. Wow. That's really nice. Alright, I'm just going to focus stack front, back and middle. We're losing light quickly. Yeah, you know, this time of night, if you're trying to stack images together, even though you're shooting in manual mode, your exposure can change. It can change just very, very slightly. And again, now we've got one thing that I didn't sort of consider was the movement in the trees. The tree's not going to be super sharp, so just to get a banker shot, I am going to crank up my ISO, turn down my aperture, speed up my shutter speed, expose for that tree, and just get a shot for the tree at a faster shutter speed because it is moving around a little bit. I just felt some wind come up then. It was nice and still earlier. I don't want to get home. Now that we're doing long exposures, any sort of movement creates blur. So just, yeah, crank up that shutter speed if you notice a bit of wind around. Otherwise, all those leaves will be moving. It won't look super nice. Wow. All right, I was about to call it quits then, but I'm going to keep taking shots. I need to. While this guy's doing stuff. I'm going to go down to F8 now, and I'm just going to concentrate on the tree. No more focus stacks, just focus on the tree. Single exposures. So shooting at F8, my reflection will probably be a little bit blurry, but it's a reflection, so I'm not too fussed if it's a little bit out of focus. Okay, it doesn't have to be pin sharp. I would still like to be down lower to get more reflection. Come on. I need to get down lower. No. Yeah, so thank you everyone who's here. Don't mind me at the moment. I'm just trying to compose a shot. Again, I'm just sort of moving it around a little bit, just trying to get that immediate foreground nice, because we're going to lose that colour very soon. Love that reflection. It just looks really good. Let's get right up. If I get up too close, I completely lose the reflection altogether. Let's come back further. Let's just try it. The reflection does look better back here. The angle of that reflection looks much better. Just an inch. That's better. That's better. Okay, I will wind it up soon. Come on. So thank you everyone who's in there. Everyone who's in here watching, thank you. Thank you for listening to me talk. Look at that. That's really nice. Now I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. As much as I don't like that puddle, I'm just going to just deal with it. Just put it in the shot. So yes, thank you to everyone who's in here. Yeah, I did plan to do a live stream last week, but just been a bit busy lately. It's been good. We've had a bit on. All right, that might do it. That might do it. I want to at least get off the mud before dark. So let me show you my last shot. I took a lot very similar, but there's the last one for the night. Look at that reflection. That's, again, just this puddle here is really annoying me. I could easily Photoshop it out, but look, I'm not. These days, I'd rather get it in camera. I don't like Photoshopping things in or out of an image. If it's in the image, it's in the image. Okay, that's just the way it is. It's there, so it's there. Clouds are pretty nice, lovely pics. I've learnt you don't need expensive tripods. No, you don't. You don't. Look, you know, pick a tripod to suit your conditions. Okay, like here in Hervey Bay, it's very rare that I go out when it's super windy. We don't have big seas. You can get away with a travel tripod here. If you lived on the Gold Coast or the Sunshine Coast, somewhere where you have big seas and big ocean, and generally you have an onshore wind down there a fair bit, so it can be windy, it can be rough, then yes, you probably do want a bigger, heavier tripod. But yeah, I'll cover that eventually. Sky getting better, the puddle bothering you, change your composition. Yeah, I tried to change it a few times. I did do a couple of shots sort of with and without that puddle there. Zoomed in and zoomed out. Thanks, Neil, looks great. Thanks, Linda. All right, well, I might wind it up there so I can start walking home before it gets completely dark. So thank you again. Thank you, everyone. And if you haven't been to Hervey Bay, get here. It's amazing. So many things to photograph here. And I haven't even got started on the wildlife yet. Wait until you see the wildlife we've got. I was nearly going to do a wildlife stream this Savo, but no, we'll do that another day. I'm getting desperate to do a Milky Way. Me too. I was... oh, yeah, me too. Just the last few days have sort of been a little bit cloudy. And yeah, the Milky Way at the moment where I want it is, it's midnight. It's between midnight and 1 a.m. Another month or two, and then we'll get it at a decent sort of an hour. Okay, so thank you again to everyone. I'm going to wind it up there. So thanks everyone, and I will hopefully see you all again soon. There's those birds. Hear them? Bye-bye.